Good morning and happy Sunday to everyone. We're so glad you're here. We have Allison Claire here with us this morning to lead our service. If you would, please join us. Rise if you're able to sing. Come sing a song with me.
Good morning, UUSS. How are you this morning? Welcome to our service, whether you're with us on Zoom or whether you're here in person. We are so happy you are here. I am Karen Sparrow, your worship associate for today, and I am here with a very special guest speaker, our very own Allison Claire. Yay! Who is speaking on Enlightenment and Endarkenment. Our ministers are attending a convention this weekend, but they promise they will come home soon. If you would like to follow the order of service, we have our little handouts available in the back on the table. For those of you on Zoom, you can click the link in the chat box. We also have our blue sheet, our famous blue sheet, of all our activities. You can pick them up at the back, or you can click the link in the chat box. We invite you to explore the ways to live out our mission. We come together to deepen our lives to be a force for healing in the world. Our weekly message comes via email every Friday. You can find it on our website. And we want to extend to all of you who are new here today a very special welcome. If you would fill out a visitor's card either at the welcome table or online at the link in the chat, we can get together and know you better. Our regular Soul Matters small groups are now meeting. If you didn't get to register for one, we have drop-in groups available online with Reverend Lucy the second and the fourth Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. The very first one will be on October 26th. Today is a very special day. You probably saw it out there. It's a Soup Sunday. Yay! For a mere $5 donation, you can enjoy a bowl of refreshing, warm, comforting soup, including a roll and a cookie. There's enough soup, usually for seconds. Thank you to the Program Council and the Ukulele Group for hosting today's feast. Now, this is very important information for you, how to get your soup. As you leave, you go to the left, head to the library, and hang a right in the hall and head to the kitchen. They want you to loop around so that we can get everybody through easily. We also have coffee and treats out on the patio for your enjoyment. Upcoming on November 12th, what is it? The auction. Yay! A wonderful dinner prepared by Tiki and her team. Tickets are available through October 31st on the website, and the silent online service auction donations are being accepted through October 25th. On the patio, after the service, there will be an auction table, and they can help you decide what you would like to donate as an activity. Next Sunday is our congregational meeting, so plan to stick around. It will be shortly after the normal service. For our Zoom congregation, hang around. There's a 12-minute chat for you in a small group. And now, check your cell phones. Everybody lean over, grab that thing. Put it in the silent mode. And this small act of kindness will keep everybody more present for the service, and we thank you for that. And now Irina will lead us in a gift of music.
The darkness takes courage. The darkness takes time. Living in the darkness brings a different state of mind. The darkness knows healing. The darkness knows change. O Mother Darkness, I return to you again.
I sing to the light that I see out the door, and it's dark, dark inside. I sing for the challenges that life has in store, and it's dark. seems to have died. I sing for forgiveness, God knows how hard I tried.
Theo Claire will be our chalice lighter this morning. May the light of this chalice flame call us into awakening. May the light in our hearts dance with the light and the dark of the world and of being itself. Blessed be.
At this time, we'd like to invite kids, youth, and everyone who is going across the way to gather up here before we send you on your way. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one And I'm scared too. But here I am, right next to you. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad to be with you. Let's settle into our seats now and take some deep breaths so that we can move into a prayerful, meditative space together, because we really need each other's loving kindness, and the world really needs our loving kindness. And this is the time to join our hearts and extend that to all who need it, beginning here. We all come to church on Sunday morning out of our separate lives with our own joys and sorrows. Some are shared every week with the congregation. And there are a couple that Roger asked me to share with you today. Kathy Andrews has let us know that her friend Bob is living with terminal cancer, and she asks us to join her in loving thoughts for his comfort. And the other's from me. I have a brother named Stephen who's disabled and has been in great emotional distress for the last 6 weeks or so since the sudden death of his partner. So I ask your prayers for him. And now please close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that, or just drop your gaze and let it be soft. And look into your own hearts for what you have brought here, the loved ones for whom you have concern, the cries of the world that tug at your heart. And let all those people come forward to you, in you, and let us together send them loving kindness. May they be safe and well. May they know peace and ease. May they be healed and whole. And now expand your awareness to include everyone in this sanctuary, both here, present physically, and those on Zoom. Think of them and all the concerns in their heart, and send them all, us all, your loving kindness. May they be safe and well. May they know peace and ease. May they be healed and whole. And our awareness now expands beyond these sanctuary walls to the rest of our greater Sacramento regional community, especially including those who are unhoused or hungry, those who are immigrants and refugees, those who are working to heal and restore our rivers and oaklands, those who are working to empower the vulnerable among us. May they be safe and well. May they know peace and ease. May they be healed and whole. And may our hearts expand again to encompass this entire beautiful, broken world, all beings, human and non-human. May they be safe and well. May they know peace and ease. May they be healed and whole. Even those whose lives are very different than ours, those whose ideas are repugnant to us, even those who cause harm, let us extend our loving kindness that they may be safe and well, know peace and ease, be healed and whole, so that all may be healed and whole. And now bring your attention back to yourself, the parts of your own heart and spirit that ache or rejoice or both at the same time. Bathe yourself in loving kindness. May we be safe and well. May we know peace and ease. May we be healed and whole. Blessed be.
Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. Honor the dark, uncertainty, and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. As the butterfly slips out from her dark cocoon, as the evening sky reveals the light of the moon, sometimes fear surrounds us, sometimes there will be pain. But let the darkness heal you until only love remains. Honor the dark.
Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the darkness as you do honor the darkness. Receive the gifts honor the darkness. Honor the darkness. Honor the darkness. Uncertainty honor the darkness. Deliver us from the darkness until only honor the darkness. Honor the darkness as you do honor the darkness. Receive the gifts honor the darkness by day and honor the darkness. Honor the darkness. Uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains.
As the butterfly slips out from her dark cocoon, as the evening sky reveals the light of the moon, sometimes fear surrounds us, sometimes there will be pain, but let the darkness heal until only love remains. As the butterfly slips out from her dark cocoon, as the evening sky reveals the light of the moon, sometimes fear surrounds us, sometimes there until only love remains. As the butterfly slips up from her dark cocoon, as the evening sky reveals the light of the moon. Sometimes fear surrounds us, sometimes there will be pain, but let the darkness heal you until only love remains. As the butterfly slips up from her dark cocoon, as the evening sky reveals the light of the moon. Sometimes fear surrounds us, sometimes there will be pain, but let the darkness heal you until only love remains. As the butterfly slips out from her dark cocoon, as the evening sky reveals the light of the moon. Sometimes fear surrounds us, sometimes there will be pain, but let the darkness heal you until only love remains. Honor the dark.
Thank you, choir. That was fabulous. Generosity is a spiritual practice. As a congregation, we cultivate this practice by giving away half of our Sunday offerings every Sunday. We have 12 community partner organizations every year. After the congregational meeting next Sunday, we will be voting on the next year's 12 partners. For the month of October, our community partner is the Native American Health Center. It is committed to enhancing quality of life by providing a culturally competent, holistic, and patient-centered continuum of care. There are no tribal or ethnic requirements to receive this care at the center, which plays a major role as part of the safety net in the Sacramento area, where Medi-Cal benefits leave many people with no access or very little access to mainstream health care. You can learn more at the center's website. Please give generously to this support for this program. As you can see on the slide, we have various ways to donate, even via your phone. Thank you for supporting UUSS and our community partner. Our morning offering will now be given and received.
As our ushers bring forward the offerings, please join me in reciting the unison response to the offering. May generosity bless our world. May gratitude nourish our spirits. Darkness gets a bad rap. In our culture, darkness is frequently used as a metaphor for ignorance, suffering, fear of death, death itself as a thing to be feared, and evil. Consider the cosmic battle between light and darkness, the dark side, dark thoughts, dark times, the dark ages, being dark to oneself. The forces of darkness, you know the ones, they gather at the brink of war and of fascism and of the imminent collapse of civilization. In so-called Western civilization, meaning European and Eurocentric cultures, the association of darkness with depravity is explicitly racist, and it's been used for centuries to justify systems of racial oppression and colonialism. Consider the dark continent, the heart of darkness, and racist slurs that equate dark skin with inferiority and danger. Now, there are perfectly good non-racist reasons for some light and dark metaphors that we're familiar with. I, for one, do stumble around in the dark and bump into things I can't see and hurt myself. I'm not suggesting that any use of light as a symbol for clarity and truth is inherently racist, or that any use of darkness as a metaphor for obscurity ought to be banished. But I think we need to take a really critical look at the ways that our language and our culture consistently assign different values to light and darkness as symbols, both because of the racist implications, but also, and this is my theme this morning, because it cuts us off from really important ways of understanding, from wisdom that blooms in the dark, the kinds of wisdom that that wonderful song by Leah Morris brought to mind for us. So sure, I stumble around in the dark. Light does allow me to perceive things and thus to understand. But note, that's true because I'm sighted, right? There's another baked-in assumption that reflects a different kind of bias, just worth noting. And that metaphor works because I am a sighted human. All of these light and darkness metaphors are completely anthropocentric, which makes sense because our language, of course, is a human function. But it limits the way that we think about the world and our place in it. So pause to remind yourselves that lots of non-human animals navigate better in darkness than in light, and are actually blinded by the amount of light it takes humans to perceive things clearly. In fact, those beings that perceive their worlds in and through darkness perceive aspects of reality to which we are completely oblivious. There's this new book out that I'm very eager to read. I have not yet read it. I've only read reviews. It's called An Immense World by Ed Yong. Raise your hand if you've read this book. Oh, come on, people. All right, so I'm already signed up at the public library. I'm in the queue, but you can add your names to the list. Here's a passage from a review in the New York Times. It's about how animals' senses reveal hidden realms that we humans aren't privy to. The reviewer wrote, "I would have called this book illuminating, but Yong made me realize how much bias is baked into an adjective like this. Humans as a species are so relentlessly visual that light, for us, has come to symbolize safety, progress, knowledge, hope, and good. And so we have illuminated the planet to make it a more comfortable place for us, while making it less inhabitable for others. Artificial lights have been a fatal attraction for sea turtle hatchlings, migrating songbirds, and some insects, steering them toward predators or disorienting them to the point of exhaustion." So our use of light as a metaphor for goodness and hope and truth might be true for us, but is not true in a larger sense. And so we'd do well, I think, to interrogate our assumptions about the nature of darkness and light as visual experiences, as human perceptions, only our human perceptions of the way that photons wave and bounce around, and light and darkness as metaphors. We privilege light because it enables us to see, and we assume that what we can see with our human eyes is how things really are, the sum total of reality, which is absolutely not true. Much of reality, as a matter of both physics and of human physiology, even if we're just talking about the reality of our immediate environment and not anything metaphysical, is beyond our ability to perceive, right? There are colors our eyes can't see. There are sound waves our ears can't hear, microwaves and other forms of energy we don't feel or perceive, and things going on around us at both micro and macro levels that I forget about all the time because my human senses don't bring them to my attention. So if what we see is only a tiny slice of material reality, why should illumination be our primary symbol for understanding? I've been thinking about this a lot lately as the wheel of the year turns past the autumn equinox, which is behind us now, and into the fall. It's finally started getting a little bit cooler, right? And we're headed toward the darkness of winter that some of us crave and some of us dread, I know. But what might it mean to really lean into the invitation of this turning to darkness? Whenever we close our eyes to pray or meditate or reflect or calm ourselves, to gather our thoughts, we're entering darkness. I do that because it's quiet there and easier to be still, less visual stimulus to activate my human brain. Stillness lives in the dark, and I need it to thrive. That's why I'm drawn there. I like to wrap myself in darkness like a protective cloak. It's comforting. It leads me deeper, deeper into myself, deeper into the interconnectedness of all that is. Light, again, for our human eyes and brains, functions to highlight the distinctions between things, right? The lights are on, and I can tell that you're different than you, and I can see the chairs as separate objects really easily. And this kind of tricks us into assuming that everything in the world is actually separate and independent from everything else. That's a very light-centered concept. And that assumption about fundamental separateness is the foundation of all dualistic thinking. And it's something that our seventh UU principle about the interdependent web invites us to question because it limits us. Our common understanding of lightness and darkness as opposing forces is one of the ultimate examples of the kind of dualism that's rampant to our culture and I think very dangerous for us in our individual spiritual lives and for the way that we relate as part of the whole. And when I think about this, I am often drawn to consider a fantastic poem by an 8th century Zen ancestor who, all those many centuries ago, really pondered this exact phenomenon. Like many Zen texts, the poem confounds our ingrained ideas that dualities like light and dark actually involves opposites that can't coexist. The title of the poem gets translated various ways in English. The version I really like is The Harmony of Difference and Equality, a concept that is so copacetic with our UU understanding of things, isn't it? Right? Harmony between difference, the delightful diversity of everything having its own specificity, treasuring that, but harmony of that specificity with equality and interconnectedness, interdependence. And I say harmony, the poem talks about harmony, because these principles of difference and equality aren't in tension like that, or even balanced like this, because both tension and balance involve two separate things. Harmony is an interweaving, right? An interconnectedness, like the voices in the choir singing about the beauty in the dark. It's It's non-dualistic. So in this text, the harmony of distance and difference, and equality, which is chanted every day in Zen monasteries and temples, there's a recognition of how light makes things seem separate and darkness makes everything one. And it makes me think about the phenomenon, well, I talked about how in the brightness, right, I see you all as separate. In the dark, yeah, I've already said I stumble and bump into things and bruise my shins. But if I'm outdoors at night in the natural world, what I experience is not, as in daylight, that tree, this flower. It's the night as a holistic experience that involves crickets chirping and bushes rustling, maybe stars or moonlight sparkling, dark shapes moving in and out of my visual realm. But it weaves into a whole really beautifully in a way that reminds me that interconnectedness is just as true and just as essential as separateness. Both light and darkness have a piece of truth to share with us. So here's how this 8th century Zen poem puts it. Within light there is darkness, but do not try to understand that darkness. Within darkness there is light, but do not look for that light. Light and darkness are a pair, like the foot before and the foot behind in walking. Each thing has its own intrinsic value and is related to everything else in form and function. Everything, including light and darkness, has its own intrinsic value and is related. These things are in harmony, they are not in opposition. And I really like the metaphor of the feet walking, right? Both are necessary for balance. They're not opposites, they're a team. And so it is when we look around us in the world. Light is nourishing and life-giving in very obvious ways that I celebrate, right? Think about photosynthesis. Photosynthesis directly or indirectly feeds all life on the planet. Think about vitamin D and the way our own bodies take sunlight and directly turn it into nourishment for our tissues. Think about the visceral psychological mood lift and physiological mood lift we get when the morning light comes through our window or when spring returns after a long winter, especially for those afflicted with seasonal affective disorder. But darkness, too, is necessary for life. Seeds incubate, sprout, and send out their roots in the darkness. Did you know that there's more biological life by biomass underground in the dark than above ground in the light? That includes the roots of all the trees and plants, vast fungal networks that connect roots of trees and plants, including entire forests, microbes, insects, worms, so much more. Nothing that happens up here under the sun can happen but for that life down in the dark. So the worlds of light and darkness aren't opposite, they are completely interdependent. Which is why darkness in many earth-based traditions is known as the womb of the world, which is literally true, whether we're talking about the Big Bang or the human experience of growing inside the darkness of our birth mother's bodies. Darkness incubates light, literally, and light returns to darkness. I was so interested to learn recently that when indigenous Hawaiian leaders receive the bones of ancestors that are being repatriated, like remains that were found in museums because they'd been stolen as artifacts, when they're given back, the leaders receive them in darkness, and then they are ritually buried in darkness because all light comes from darkness. I mentioned the equinox earlier, and it's of interest to me that one of the foundational myths of our Eurocentric cultures about light and dark and the turning of the seasons is the old Greek myth about Demeter and Persephone. I trust some of you know that. I'm seeing some nods. Okay. So the traditional story goes like this. Demeter is the earth goddess. She makes everything bloom. Earth is a riot of color and growth and good energy. Persephone is her beloved daughter. And when Persephone comes of age, the king of the underworld, the man of darkness, Hades, comes and flings her over his shoulder and takes her off to the underworld. And Demeter is so heartbroken and bereaved, she can't even function. So winter falls and everything dies and is cold and horrible. And then the next spring, Persephone persuades her husband to let her out to go visit mom. And when they're reunited, Demeter's joy brings spring again. Okay, there are a lot of problems with this story, which I'm not going to spend the rest of the day unpacking for you. Instead, I'm simply going to offer my own completely alternative version of this story. Let's imagine that Persephone has grown up with her beloved mother, but the time comes, as for all young people, when she needs to go off and discover who she is, find her own center of groundedness. So she goes on a psychologically necessary journey to the interior. She sets off inward to go deep into the deep, dark places where she can find the ground of her own being, the ground of being itself. And so Persephone shows Demeter the value of fallow time, the dark place for rest and reflection. And Persephone's journey teaches us that the flourishing of life above ground requires the flourishing of life below ground in the dark. Above and below, light and darkness aren't separate in any real meaningful way. They're aspects of one flow. And reimagined that way, the story of Demeter and Persephone can become a story about non-dualism. Now, Eurocentric cultures, of course, aren't the only ones that privilege light over darkness. Lots of traditions that come out of Asia emphasize enlightenment, which we usually think of as the experience of realizing truth in a state of illumination. And Zen Buddhism, which I study and which gave us that beautiful poem, right, about the harmony of the two, also has a lot of teachings about luminosity as a quality of wisdom and awakening, and that's beautiful. Just because I question unexamined dualisms doesn't mean I don't love luminosity language and teachings. I actually do. But that doesn't mean rejecting the dark. I really wish I could take credit for the title that I gave this sermon, Enlightenment and Endarkenment, but I stole it from a contemporary American Zen teacher named Joan Sutherland. And I want to read you a passage from her work. The larger context for it is that she is talking about an integration of the kinds of spiritual practice that really are about one's own personal state of awakening, what we here at UUSS call deepening our lives, right? Integrating that with practice that is embedded in the world, what we talk about in terms of being a force for healing. So the specific harmony of difference and equality at issue here is harmony between, well, I'll let her tell you, right? She says it better than I can. Joan Sutherland. In broad strokes, enlightenment is about the brilliant illumination that lifts us out of the suffering world and is the focus of classical Buddhist literature. Endarkenment is about the radiance of the deeps that lets us find home in the world. Endarkenment is the heart that breaks open to life, rests comfortably on the unfathomable mystery of existence, and is easy with uncertainty, complexity, and what courses underground. Enlightenment and endarkenment are both essential to awakening. I mean, that's the whole thing right there, folks. That's it, right? Endarkenment is about the radiance of the deeps that lets us find home in the world, the heart broken open to life, resting comfortably, being able to tolerate and even embrace uncertainty and complexity and things that course underground. Both are essential to awakening. So I just want us all to remember that We as individuals and as a community need both the light and the darkness. We need to live in that harmony of light and darkness that both the natural world and our own life experiences present to us every day. It's all a gift. So I want to leave you with a blessing called A Blessing of Darkness and Light by the Reverend Amy Zucker Morgenstern of the UU Church of Palo Alto. Blessed is the dark in which our dreams stir and are revealed. Blessed is the dark of earth where seeds come to life. Blessed are the depths of the ocean where no light shimmers, the womb of all earthly life. Blessed is the light into which we awake, the light that sparkles on the waters, that calls the tree forth from the seed and calls the shadow forth from the tree. Blessed are we as we move through the darkness and through the light.
In our journeys through interconnected light and darkness, we feel the flow of our lives. And we sing now, "My life flows on in endless song." We extinguish this flame, but we carry the light, darkness, love, and commitment of this gathering into the days and nights to come.
May we all awaken to the truth of the light and the truth of the darkness. May light and darkness bless your days, and may the harmony of darkness and light nourish and sustain you as you deepen your lives and as you serve the world.